Hey guys, what's up? We are the Katiyos. Again, we're still looking for that perfect entry statement. You guys have sent so many nice ones, but we don't really have one that's really touched us in our hearts. But anyway, today we're going to be discussing a word that she loves and a word I struggle to say. Solemnization. Solemnization.
That's it.
Because we've had a lot of questions as to what solemnization, why did we do it? So in pretty much simple terms, we are having two weddings. We've had the smaller wedding, which is why we are now staying as husband and wife. We're going to have another wedding later in the year. So by definition, what is solemnization?
So the dictionary definition says that solemnization is to observe or commemorate with rites or ceremonies, to solemnize an occasion with prayer. So essentially, solemnization is like the court wedding plus the Christian aspect added to it.
Okay. So in a court wedding, you are legally married, but they don't really necessarily acknowledge God. Is that what you're saying? When you're solemnized, you're blessed, like a Christian, proper Christian ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And that was very important to us because we are Christians.
Yeah.
So what led to this decision? Okay, I think I'll go first. And then you can say why she was against this whole process. And then you can walk us through, what led to this process for you. So for me, I'd always thought of that I would pay my rota and I'd have a wedding and that's it. Then in comes COVID, right? No one expected COVID. I had planned on paying my rota maybe in June. Was it June?
Yeah, June.
June last year. But it kept getting pushed back and I ended up being able to pay the rota in December. It was pushed back because people were not allowed to gather, as well as my munyai, right, was not able to come because they live in a different state. Some call it munyai, some places call it sadombo. Negotiator was unable to come because they're staying in a different city. So those are some of the things that delayed this process. So anyway, I finally paid rota in December. I spoke to my wife here in January. She wanted a wedding in December. I said, babe, that's a bit long. Can you push it forward? And she finally I managed to sway her to September. And being someone who is in love and blinded by love and whatever, I was happy to wait until September for my bride. And then I took this message to my family, to my parents. And my father actually brought up a good point. And he said, we're living in a COVID world. Rota itself was pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. There's no guarantee that your wedding will not be pushed back and pushed back. You might pick September and then end up actually having to get married in January 2022 because things are very unpredictable. There's no guarantee that whatever date you pick, you'll be able to marry on that date, which got me thinking. And they said, you've already been with this person for 6 years. This thing has dragged on for so long. Why can't you just have a small wedding and that way you can start living together and then whenever you can do the other wedding that you want to do, which felt like a good point. And in Christian circles, right, a lot of people would date for like a year or even weeks or even months and they're married. So there's a lot of people asking us, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? Because what we did is very unusual for most Christians, given the fact that you can't sleep together, you shouldn't sleep together before getting married. And we abstained, we were faithful to it by the grace of God, because I don't think a lot of people will be able to do that. And for us to be able to do that, we can credit God. So then I also spoke to my pastors, and they said, yeah, your parents are right. There's nothing wrong with having a small wedding. That is a godly, a small Christian wedding. Then you can always do the bigger one at your leisure. And I was like, okay, cool. So I've got my parents' blessing, I've got my pastor's blessing, and I think I'm okay with this thing. Then I went to her, and she was not budging. Why were you not budging?
I was not budging because as a little girl, you know, you have your idea of what you want your wedding to be like, and you dream of it being like.
Yeah, apparently she had been planning her dream wedding since she was 12 or 11, right?
12. So when I was planning my dream wedding, having 2 weddings was unfortunately not a part of my dreams. So I was still holding on to that, and still holding on to the fact that I wanted one wedding. I wanted to say I do once, and I wanted to walk down the aisle once.
Okay.
So anyway, I ended up changing my mind because I got a phone call. So the same pastors that he spoke to, they were actually on holiday at that time in Zimbabwe. They
Dr.
called
Gwen and Dr. Tatenda. Shout out to you guys, the Maokos.
They called me all the way from Zim.
Wasting their airtime.
And had a chat with me. And essentially they just explained the situation and gave me some counsel. And they were just like, the reality is, you know, you guys have been together for quite a bit of time. And you don't want to get in a situation where you do marry in December or you do marry in September, but you marry a very bitter husband. You marry a very bitter husband, or you marry a husband that is so bitter that he no longer really loves you. And they were like, the reality is, you know, you said I do to him. You guys accepted his rora, his cows, you accepted them. And now it's like you're choosing, you know, one thing over your husband. So you have to make a decision that benefits your marriage and your husband, because you will be the one walking into that marriage and walking into that house. So.
And also my father-in-law was like, hey, one guy.
So yeah, that's essentially the main reason why I ended up changing my mind, because I got some counsel and, you know, my pastors explained to me the situation, and they explained essentially what can end up happening if I decide to be hard-headed and have my dream wedding the way that I want to have it.
I think there was a part of her that probably thought, I know how this story goes. We have a small wedding.
That's it.
And then after that,
pregnant.
Let's buy a house. Let's see. And the dream wedding is no longer a priority, or it's scratched off the list. Which brings us to point number 3, which is why I know some people do. So why have the 2 weddings? Because our intention was never to have 2 weddings. Our intention was to have 1 wedding. But this dude called COVID, we had to adapt, and we had to change our plans to Famba Nezhurwitika at that time, right? So why have 2 weddings? Because I still want to give my wife the wedding that she's dreamed about since she was 12. And in the same way that she said that if delaying us getting married could have made me bitter, I've heard of many situations as well whereby a guy or a husband promises his wife that they're going to have a bigger wedding later, but then it does not fulfill that. And that wife is in this marriage but very resentful towards the husband. That's when you have that situation where you attend weddings and the wife says, you know, I don't want that to be my fate. And even my mom always jokes about this, and she said, And she's like, yeah, ipamurora mchato wake anofanira kunyasofamba down an aisle, not kaka aisle kakafamba kaka. So that is exactly from why I want to have this second wedding.
And I didn't even get to wear the dress I wanted.
But anyway, we hope that this video has given you guys an understanding. There's no right and wrong as to why you should, whatever you should do. You do what, as long as you are honoring God, right? And you're honoring your family, and you're happy with the decisions you make, go for it. We come from Zimbabwe. Back in the day, people would have the traditional wedding, move in together, have even 6 kids, then have the big wedding. You see what I mean? Because back to my point of being married and having a bitter wife. Some of these people, why they're having this wedding even when their kids are old enough to marry themselves? Because that little girl never got the opportunity to live out her dream. But yeah, do what suits you guys. Do whatever you are happy with. We hope that we've given you an understanding of why we did what we did.
Yeah.
And we plan on doing more of these sit-down videos. It seems you guys enjoy them. So if there are topics that you want us to discuss, we are very open people and we'll tell you as is. Anything else to say, my Katiyo?
No, just comment down below if you have specific topics you would like us to discuss, and we'll collate them together and we'll work through them for you guys. And yeah, we're here and are hoping to be an example of value. We hope that our mistakes will help you so that you don't make the same mistakes. What?
Are you calling me a mistake?
No. And we hope that the things that we've done right, we can teach you guys or explain some of our things so that you can maybe reflect or have a look and this and that. I know this video will help someone. And yeah.
But yeah, we really want this channel to, as much as we want to entertain, we want it to be of value and want it to glorify God. And we're even gonna have guests and many other things as we continue to make these videos. So we want to enrich people in every way possible. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for always watching us. And we hope you feel part of the family. God bless and take care. I forgot to mention how, some people probably thought and
you can add it and then can you piece it in?
Amen.
Bagina,